Oh, crud. I forgot about one important part. Hello. Checking out my stuff. That is not how you spell that word, thunder. Scewer. Pretty sure he's missing an R in there to make screwer, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. Alright, give me 1 second to start up my stream. Actually, I still have to load the game. Yeah, stream started and I realized I need to actually start the game. Minor details. What? It's fine. Yeah, I was curious how that would work, but I figured that would happen. Yeah, I see thunder right in mine all over, which is fine. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Well, let's find out. Where is you? Yes, if I type in there, it pops up on your chat. What happened to my OBS? My OBS, oh, there it is. My OBS disappeared for a second. It's like, what's going on? Hey, what's up, Seismic? How are you? Welcome. Popping by to say hello and have a great Christmas. Well, thank you very much, sir, and we will see you later. If you're bouncing out, we're just going to be learning to create. You hear the construction noises? I do apologize. They are working on one of the apartments. Didn't think they'd be doing it today, though. But, eh. Me too. I'll be back. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It is Syntax Prime, and we are here with BB, who actually I just realized cannot get in until... Okay, now he can get in. We have a super flat here with grass, in which we were having some fun with some stuff. So that's the thing. Is there anything in here? Let me see. Is there anything in here that I actually need? No. So we could go do that. All right. Well, today we are going to learn. I can't believe I'm still wearing this outfit. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Today we are going to be learning about the Create mod. And for some reason... that's not functioning correctly. There we go. There we go. All right. So, yeah, we're going to be learning today about the Create mod, and BB is going to be our teacher. And we're going to see how well we do. So make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe. And I'm not sure why I still have this backpack on, but we're going to get started right now. Let's go. Where's my mute?
Hello.
All right. Ready when you are, sir.
Okay. I still can't get over the double goggles. First thing I'll cover. Do you know the difference between RPM and STU?
I don't know what STU is. Hey, what's up, Thunderbird?
So, RPM is the rotations per minute, so that's how quickly things are cycling around. If I quickly get a speedometer and a stressometer. These are, or at least the stressometer is going to be your friend to being able to know how much power you still have, or stress you have left to use. And the speed is just when you have no idea what speed your systems are currently running at, as that can also be a specific thing to be aware of, because more power, more speed can cause more stress into the system.
Okay.
But other than that, the first thing I would say to cover will be of how to generate stress units. Do you know?
Well, that's where like things like the water wheel and whatnot come in.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Just trying to... Water wheel... That... And...
He's gonna make a windmill.
Not just a windmill. So, we've got different sources of power. As we know, we've got small water wheel, and then we've also got large water wheel. Each generate their own amounts of stress. The small water wheel will generate, I think it was 256 stress, whilst the large is then double that. However, the smaller will spin faster than the large.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if I quickly... That works. That really worked. Yeah, I'm smart. What are you on about? So, yeah, 256 stress units compared to 512. Those are your simplest methods, and they can be stacked up by, of course, placing on more, but you will need the water on them to get them to turn.
Yeah.
But you can pile them up, have more water flowing through, and that stress will
Increase.
connect. Yeah.
So it basically gives you more power overall.
Yes. Something I normally like to do at the same time is when I have a large water wheel, is to also add a small one onto it anyway. That way, I can double the speed. Because you probably just saw the speed increase there.
Okay, so this is still doing 256.
Yeah.
This is
It's
still
still doing...
showing 512, but the speed
Yeah.
has gone up. So why isn't this doing more?
They are... Or the water wheels are locked at how much they actually generate. However, if we grabbed one of the stressometers, we can see that it's added both of those together to create
Ah,
the total stress amounts that you have. So if we stopped the small water wheel, then it would go down to so it's just the large acting.
okay.
So that's your simplest power source. The next stage from that would be using a windmill bearing. Let me quickly just grab a
Whoops. I guess that's supposed to be a right
radial
click.
chassis. I think it's a radial chassis. So, for these to function, you need sails. You don't have to have them in the same direction, but it just is aesthetically pleasing. Oh, so I should mention, the direction of the water does affect which way the mills do spin.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
However, how many do you need? Oh, so the minimum requirement of sails is 8. Something to note is that I think you do not need super glue. No, you don't. You do not need super glue for those to stick together. And because I used a radial chassis, or chassis, whatever, in the center, that's already sticking the things to the side.
Okay.
Something also to note, if you look on the bearing itself, you can actually change the rotation you want it to spin.
Was that right click or left click?
Hold
That
down
is not left click.
right click when hovering over.
Ah, okay, I see it. I see it.
And of course, to activate when it's standing still, you just, with an empty hand, click on anywhere on the bearing.
Ah, okay.
Currently, if I actually connect that up, with only 8 sails, that's doing the same as a large water wheel. However, with this, you can add more sails, and not only will it spin a lot faster. Actually, yeah, how fast was that moving, thinking about it?
Fairly slow, really.
we
1 RPM.
yeah 1 RPM. Okay, so if I add
So at 1 RPM, it was still doing 512 stress units.
True, yes. If I add 8 more sails, we can already see it starting to pick up speed.
Okay,
2
so now
RPM.
we're at, oh wow,
Double
2
that.
RPM, and it's now at 1,000. Okay.
I forgot that it was this powerful.
But this has
of
a
course,
limitation, doesn't it? As far as the sales, as to
I
how much you can
I
put.
think it does. Maybe. How much, though, I cannot remember. Double that,
It's
4
moving
RPM.
faster. Yeah, we got 4 RPM. We got 2,048 stress units.
Thing is with this, though, you don't even need to use the sails. You can just use wool, blocks of wool, but then you do have to use glue to stick them together. Tell you what, why don't you stick them together so you can see how you're gluing things? Okay, in theory, if we... Nope, apparently we need to also click on the side of... So there you go. And I'll place that back. There we go. And that does the exact same thing. But it's
So
just
if we're going to use wool, you have to use glue, and it has to be on the side of the thing. But if you use sails, you don't have to use the glue, and it doesn't have to be on the side of the thing. That's just weird.
I mean, again, I only use that central block because that automatically connects contraption stuff together.
Yeah. But it doesn't do it when it's just wool. It does it when it's sails, but not wool, which is the weird part. It's like,
Well,
what?
one is a Minecraft just building block technically, and then the other is a create made piece. So that would of course connect to create stuff.
I guess.
I think if you had a different block in the center, though, you would need to glue the
Everything
sails
up
to
in there.
that.
Okay.
Because the sails will just connect to one another. They're fine. And, of course, that can go up to however much it is. Something people normally do is just build a solid block of wool. And that just spins around.
Yeah, but the sails, this looks better.
There you go. Yeah, the sails do look very nice. And you can actually, if you put the sails into a crafting thing, you can actually have an empty frame as well, and they still act the exact same way. It's weird that they don't cause any negative effects, but and yeah, the building off the side of things of this mod is pretty nice for making long chains.
And somehow that actually works.
Yep.
With holes in it. Go figure. So it does allow. Okay, now can you color the sails? Can we color them? No. Okay.
At least in base create, no. I don't think there is an add-on either for coloring them, which is actually a missed opportunity.
Hmm.
I need that. That's gonna need a lot of stuff. Right, next thing that I will cover, though, shall be steam boilers. This is your very much heavier power source, where you need a intake of water. So you need a power source so that the pump can function of pumping water into the tank. But on the tank, you will have I'm just going to power this up to 3. You will have one steam engine. Placing a steam engine will turn the fluid tank into a boiler. However, for the actual engine to run, you also need a shaft to actually have on the top. So you actually have the piston for it.
Right, so this is the actual... Okay, so water, pump, power for the pump. And you said as soon as you put... You said as soon as you put this thing on the top, this becomes a boiler on the water tanks?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I just put a water wheel there, that's powering. Something to note with power, a big cogwheel going into a small cogwheel, the small cogwheel will, of course, cycle faster than the large. Because it's a large going to a small.
Yeah, that much I did know.
Ratio. So we can have water. Why is there particles underneath?
I was about to say, why is this showing no water in here?
Oh, by the way, you can, with the wrench, you can right-click onto straight pipes and they'll turn into a glass one. Unless if we need a lot more things, something I'm just going to be using is a creative motor. So I could just have power already flowing in. There we go. Now we're seeing water. We're seeing a
So it just needed more speed to get the water in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the speed of the pump depends on how much it's actually pushing through at a time. Now, you also need heat for...
Yeah, because otherwise that's not going to do anything. It's just a water tank.
And I can't find...
That's why we need to go to the Nether at some point and capture some,
blazes in the...
yeah, the blazes, yeah, so we can make the blaze furnace. Now, I catch them with the Pokeball, right? Well, not the Pokeball, but...
Yeah, you can capture them using your Pokeball thing. But something you can still do is actually use campfires as an early source of a thing. Hold on. Is this too big? Oh, there we go. I need it to make it 4 high. But that's your weakest steam boiler. But that's still generating about 2000 SU.
Yeah.
And that's via one engine, I think. I'm not sure if this only allows one, because if you add more things... Yeah, it spreads the stress units out, though.
Well, it makes sense because you have the same amount of steam, but now you have double the piston, so it should cut the stress units in half.
Like, there is some perk to having this, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, if you have a larger tank.
Yeah, I think this is that's worth doing on larger spoilers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you have a large enough boiler that's generating a lot of stress, then I can see having
Yeah.
more than one, because then you could cut that stress in half and have actually more power. Like if you need X amount of stress, yeah, you just double it up, make it bigger, get more stress. That should work.
That's a difference. Blaze, but there we go. Blaze burner. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
feed
that
them.
should do the exact same as a campfire. However, if you feed it any type of burnable block, let's just say I'm going to feed it oak planks, which just look at it and click onto it. My goodness, that's sped it up. Oh, that's turned into a level 1. Wait, was it not a level 1 before?
Yeah, it's still at level 1
Oh, right. No, that's
because
what it is. Right
you
now
don't
it's
have enough
in
water
passive.
capacity.
It's in passive generation right now.
Yeah,
So
because he
it's
ran out of
working,
fuel.
but it's not actually making too much stress. But you give it something burnable, then it starts properly running and you can see just how much it's functioning. Get the speedometer. So passively that's 16 RPM. Grab plank. And then, of course, not only is that bumped up to 16,384 SU, but you're also up to 64 RPM with that. An Easter egg about these, by the way, just a cheeky thing. In reference to, what was it, Howl's Moving Castle, or whatever the film was by Studio Ghibli, you can actually feed them eggs.
I was about to say, if we had the chicken mod out here, couldn't you just put the old chicken or some kind of chicken next to this thing and it just auto feeds it?
Maybe. Try and find where the eggs are now. There. So if I just place that down. Yeah, it eats them up, however, it does not last long. By any means. Only a mere moment. So you would need a lot of chickens laying a lot of eggs very quickly.
You only need 10, 10, 10 chickens. I'm trying to see, like, how would you get the egg, I mean, the chicken to feed them? No, but like with the chicken mod, how do we get the chicken mod to feed these guys?
No idea.
Did they just take like do you know if they take like any kind of like how like we got to be able to feed these guys somehow, right?
That doesn't work. If I use a funnel, let's just use an andesite funnel. No, that doesn't work. So no, I think you do. Well, if you were to do that, you'd need to use a mechanical R, but that's late game stuff. And by the way, yes, you can have a steam boiler powering itself, technically, because you can take its own rotations or stress units to power itself. Though personally, I do not do that, as if the thing overstresses or just shuts down in general, then you need to start it up manually. So you have to disconnect what it's fed up to so you can actually restart it. Those hopper upgrades are for sophisticated storage.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Being on the topic of the blaze burners, though, there's something else related to them. Granted, yeah, I've already tried that.
So that's actually sitting 5. So that's not actually going into the hopper. It's not actually doing anything. So that doesn't work for that. That works for... Let me see something. That's not right. No, I'm trying to type over here. Oh, so that's more for... Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, so there's what I want to see. See something here. So if we do...
Pulls items from block on top, pushes them to block below. Oh, you can actually change it as well on the side.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could get it to push out the side.
So you would want east. If you're trying that, I doubt that it'll work though. I think for blaze burners you do need a mechanical arm to place them into the blaze burner. But that's something
Yeah.
we'll get into later on because they can be confusing.
Yeah, it's not getting into it. It's not going in there. So yeah, I was just curious.
But being that we're looking at the blaze burners, these modes on you can actually, I forget, you can actually see how long they're burning for. In the top left actually tells you. But there's a thing called the blaze cake. What this does, it's a way or something to feed your blaze burners. However, it actually superheats them.
Yeah.
So, granted, you can have a good boiler running off of a heated blaze burner. But for a maximum boiler, you want to have a good amount of blaze cakes being made to keep up then superheated blaze burners.
Okay.
And that will just generate however much. But this is, again, very high production rates, as that's only lasting... How long is it? A total of 160 seconds. So that's 2.5 minutes. So you'd want a blaze cake roughly every 2 minutes being made. Which means you've got to make sure you have lava, egg, sugar, cinder flour, and all things to make the stuff. Right, yeah, you're using a creative blaze cake, so that's just infinite. That's for creative use, of course.
Yeah, yeah. If you do creative, it says it never runs out of fuel.
Yeah.
But then you could sit there and whack it with it again, and then you can make it go through all 3 stages, which is kind of weird.
Well, that's just how to switch it through through things. Otherwise, well, because there's no cooldown for the creative one, how else are you going to switch its modes?
Well, it's saying it's generating enough heat, but it doesn't have enough water, and the size is too small. Now that we have this, so if we go like this, we're fine. But if we go like this, we're not fine. Okay.
Something to think about, actually, when it comes to the boilers, or at least the fluid tanks, is that, granted, you can have just pile them up in single blocks, or you can group them together in 4s, to where if you'd stack them up then, it should automatically place in 4 every time. But of course, you will need those items in your inventory. The maximum size you could go, though, is a 3x3.
Okay,
And of
that
course,
holds a crap ton.
yeah, so each fluid tank holds 8 buckets. So of course that's 360 buckets compared to 160 and then 40. Something you can do is right click, like with the pipes of letting them have glass. You can do the same on these, but it just removes the glass instead. So if you want to see the liquid inside or not.
Oh, okay. So that's optional. That's good to know because you could always change up the decorating for that. Okay.
Yeah. So of course these are going to offer different ranges, different levels. Looking at the boiler, actually, you know what? Yeah, looking at this boiler now, being for its current size, you can see the size is up there.
Yeah.
It's going to tell you its maximum thing depending on whatever's the strongest being put into it. So, being that the size is the largest, that's what you're working towards for how much water you'll need and how much heat you need to max out that size boiler. So that's going to depend on how much water you're pumping in at a single time. And yes, multiple pumps do work to pump in bonus amounts of water. But then, of course, the heat is its own equation.
Ooh, that's a lot. See, here's the other thing. Like, in order to go to the maximum size, right, you need this. How do you feed the guy in the middle?
Right, again, I might as well get to it, being that it's being asked about. Whilst this is late game, the mechanical arm. Having fun there.
Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, so the mechanical arm gets into the guy in the middle?
Yes. So, if you pick up a mechanical arm, looking at something such as a blaze burner, right-click it.
Okay.
So you should have highlighted it to be a case of either taking or depositing.
Yeah, it all says the deposit.
Something you can also do is if an item can sit on something, such as a depot, I take it you know what a depot is.
Yeah.
Then you can actually tell it when you're still holding it to pick up or place down onto this. Meaning, if your items are ending up here or are on a conveyor belt, you can take those items from being laying there and have them being placed into the blaze burners. Though, of course, you do need stress units to then power this thing. But I quickly just grab a creative motor. There you go. So that is technically functional. If I tell you what, if you quickly using the or holding the thing, select all of them again. And then also select the depot so it should appear in a different color.
Right.
And then you can place it down. So that should now be programmed to take things from the depot and deposit them into the blaze burner. Before you do that, though, there is something to note about the mechanical arm.
Yeah, what's that?
On the bottom, you can actually alter its distribution method. So round robin, forced round robin, or prefer nearest target. Round robins are a case where it will cycle through everything. The forced round robin is that it will force itself to only choose that route that you took when selecting things. And then prefer nearest is just it will preference its nearest thing prior to the others. If I
It's not doing anything.
Does take that off.
I was about to say, doesn't.
There you go.
Oh, it doesn't like
Because it was
that.
creative. And of course, if I add more rotational power...
Oh, it's going
that's
in
going
the
to
speed
speed
of
up.
which I did the clicking. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's going to feed in the order that you clicked in, but the rotational power, or how quick you've got rotational force going into this, depends on how quickly it runs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And these also have their own Easter egg, which I do not need to show, but I thought I might as well because it's a funny thing. Watch the mechanical arm. I think that should play. No? To my understanding, that should dance around. Maybe I'm doing something incorrectly. Oh well. But yeah, it should just go in a rainbow formation, just dance around as a little fun Easter egg. Oh, you're pumping in water.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this. See if I understand this here correctly. Missing something. Hold on. Yeah.
You can use the wrench to switch. There you go. Pumps will not go at angles, they stay as straight.
But yours is at a different angle over here. How'd you do that?
Because I placed it down at the thing.
Oh,
So if
I
you're
see what
looking
it
at the
is. I
side
see
of
what
the
it
pump.
is. Okay, so what I gotta do is actually go like this.
I mean, if you so wish to, you could have kept that water there and just moved the pump down one. Make sure you know which way the direction is going.
Yeah, I'm
of the
looking at
pump.
that. I just gotta go that way. Oh, wait, what I want to do is I need the other.
Other gear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nope, that's not
something
it.
to keep an eye out for is that when connecting a small to a large, it will always be to a diagonal point. So things like the pump, the mechanical arm, they will always act as a small cogwheel. I can see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it
And-
out. It's not.
So here,
Oh.
you're going to want something slightly different. So
I need the elbow thing.
the gearbox.
Yeah, the elbow thing. So we're gonna need. Well, I don't know. Does it matter which one?
It can. One is vertical, one is horizontal. So it's going to have input/outputs, shaft entries from 4 points. So you've got the horizontal one. So that will connect. So you want those shafts, outputs, things. Right, there you go. So that's technically powering, going through that power. But remember, this is a gear. You're trying to power a shaft there.
Something like that. Yeah, it's not the
You're now
best.
pumping in
but
water to a tank.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can figure out some of this stuff. It's not the easiest thing, but it's not that hard. It's just you gotta play with it. And then you start figuring out how to do the stuff. Okay.
Something to note is that you do not need that one.
I'm
just do
working. Yeah, I'm working through. I was thinking that. Now you're stuck in there.
With the water filling up. No. But now you've got a thing. So let's see.
Not enough water, not enough heat.
Yeah, you can tell actually where that line or green line is. Your heat is now dying out, by the way.
Yeah, I
That
can see that.
highlighted green line is your level that you're currently working with.
You guys all suck.
So something to recall, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually use multiple pumps to do the same thing. And this should all still work. I would not advise placing it next to it though, but to split that apart. Reason being is that the pipes will just loop around and then not be connected to the water. I mean, you can.
Okay.
Something you can do though is put that glass in so that they then do not connect.
Okay, so if it's in glass, it won't connect. Okay.
Correct. Glass makes it stuck into that straight position. Something I will make note of though is if you hold shift and place it on, it will actually face away from you. Which is a really nice mechanic. So of course, not holding shift, it will point towards you. Holding shift, these will point away from you.
Oh, okay.
It's really nice. I wish we had it in normal Minecraft for things like observers.
You know how many things I wish were in normal Minecraft? I'm actually looking at stuff to improve my realm, but I'm gonna do a few things. I'm thinking about doing a few things there. They have a free ambient sound pack that I added. All right. So what's next?
Well,
Now that we've
you
gone through mid-gear and high-end stuff and getting these big, huge boilers, let's go back
okay, well,
to
let's quickly
doing a
jump
few other
in. By the
things.
way, remember these pumps are also taking their own stress units. That's let's just do that.
We lost our water source.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. There we go. But that there, let's say large cogwheel because that works. Now, that's more water than the sizes
Where did my wrench go?
in your inventory.
No, it's not in here at all. It's gone. It's very odd. Okay, so you can't have it turned because otherwise it just doesn't do anything. Okay.
Ah, so what I'm understanding here is that it's only going to generate so much through a single piston. That's why you have multiple pistons. And yes, you can change the direction of these as well. Theory.
All right, so that's 341 each, which means that we're doesn't show me how much we're generating here at the end. So now basically these three are now connected to one drive, correct?
Correct.
So if they're each putting out 300, then that would mean that we're at about, we should be receiving out of the end, yeah, about to say 900 to 1,000. Okay.
If I switch direction of those, add in a couple of small cogwheels so that they're facing the opposite.
Then we get 2,048 because now
It's
these are
because
all
it's in
combined.
passive. We're not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
in
we're
passive,
not,
so
we're
of
not.
course it's not.
Let's fix that. Let's fix that.
Let's just dump some place cakes on there.
Yeah, that's what I
there
was
we
about
go.
to do. Ooh,
Yeah.
that sucker's moving.
So something I'm noticing is that the capacity is far higher than what we're outputting. So if we need, oops, not that way. So can we do that? Yep. So that's still not enough. We need one more set. Why are you not? There it is. Go the other way. There you go. Now that's pumping out the max amount of its energy. So that's what why you need multiple pistons. So that you can actually pump out the entirety of it.
But you could just do water wheels.
Yeah, you can do water wheels, you could do sails. These are your three different types of energy you could make. But if you were to try and match this boiler, which is of course generating 180,000 stress,
Right.
you're going to need however many water wheels.
I think that they had said that the maximum water wheel count was 32, and that generates all the stress you'll ever need. You put, I think, I've been watching videos on all sorts of stuff related to Stone Block and all the mods. It was about maybe 2 weeks ago. I saw something about that. They were saying if you put like
That's
32
going to
large
generate
wheels all over the place.
16,384 stress units. 32 of these. Which, again, is still not in comparison to a steam boiler. So it really depends on what you're powering, how much you're powering.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all going to come into stuff.
All right. So now that we're generating 180,000 stress units. Now what?
Well, from here on, I'm just going to use a creative motor to power things, rather than setting up a.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that. But now
motions and
that we're
everything.
generating power, so what's the next thing that we need to learn?
Well, let's say we're transporting the motion. So I can grab just a number of different methods to transport energy. So, of course, we've got the default, which is going to be used in basically everything, the blank shaft.
Okay.
So that's just basically your wire line, in a sense.
Right. This is the power
Carry the
distribution thing.
rotational.
Just go like that. You know, extend it out, and then you put some cogs on here that I have in here somewhere. Like so, and then voila. Now we're getting the energy into things.
Yeah, so you'd be generating it all the way over here, but now you're processing it all the way over there.
Yeah. So it's like a redstone block. This is the redstone line, and then this is the actual way to get to.
Like
This
the
is the
piston
repeater,
kind
the
of-
piston,
yeah.
or whatever, to get the power out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right, working off of this though, as we know, or as we've just seen, I connected these up using small cogwheels, but of course, they are all then going in different directions, right?
Right.
There are ways around that.
And the side casings, I'm assuming, or gearboxes or something.
Yes and no. So, that central one, as we can see, is moving in a different direction. That would be the same for if I were to just place in a large cogwheel as well. But of course, that's now going half the speed these small ones are.
Right.
Something I could do instead is use a encased chain drive, which, coming around here, think of it as 3 of the small cogwheels, but now that central one is moving in the same direction.
Okay.
A similar... I'm going to quickly move this creative motor back a bit.
Encased chain drive. All right.
Something similar to this can actually be accomplished using the belts. So connecting a belt from one shaft to another.
Keeps them all rotating the same way. All right.
And you can put more shafts in where you please. Something to note though, this of course can carry items.
Not very well, apparently.
The chain drive cannot. But something that the chain drive can do is twist.
Ah.
I mean, it can only twist along its line, so it can't all of a sudden change its direction like that. That won't work. If you wanted to do that, you'd need to do that onto them. Well, that's going up and then twisting around. But at that point, you might as well use
Cogwheel
one of the gearboxes.
or something. Okay.
tell you what, being that I'm currently covering gearboxes, watch which direction this is currently flowing in when I replace this line with a gearbox.
Hello.
Yeah. It reverses. This is something you've got to be wary of. This is going to change up your directions completely.
Okay.
So, of course, you could just say, oh, I'm going to add another gearbox, and that's just going to put it back together. Or, if you so wished, you could add or switch that out for a gear shift, which is actually a redstone acting thing. Nope, you'd want the lever. So, of course, because we've got the gearbox, it's by default it's spinning the other way, but the gearbox or gear shift will change the direction.
Based on the power that it receives, if it
Yes.
receives any power. Okay.
So if you need like one thing in a line that needs traveling the opposite way, that's a method to cause it. Another thing, because there's a few things leading off from this, there's another thing called the clutch. Can you understand what that probably does before testing it?
That just stops it.
Yep. So if you want to block or stop power going into a system to gain back your stress units, you can turn on and off the systems you want to use.
Oh, alright. So you can have one central, of course, power thing, and since everything draws a stress unit from there, you have one that doesn't have enough stress units, you can use this to automate turning things on and off.
Yeah.
So then increase the stress units that goes somewhere else.
Correct.
Okay.
Because, of course, you're only generating as much stress units as you are for what your power source is. So if you need to, if you overstress something, say let me quickly grab a water wheel. Because yes, you can also place these.
Yeah, that I
the other
know.
way around. Water. I'm going to quickly say I'm going to try and attach this to a millstone, because that uses a small. Yeah, I mean you should be recognize what a millstone is from stone block.
Yeah.
That uses minimal stress units, which, by the way, you can also put stress units in from the base, just with a shaft, if you didn't want to put a gear on the side.
I always wondered about that. So you could just do this.
Yeah.
And
So
then
if you
get
wanted,
rid of that, and then do... Let's see, we would have to get rid of that. There we go there. And we just do like that.
yeah. And that's just another form of powering it, which is nice.
Okay.
So that's that much. Tell you what, I'm going to quickly move that to there. Grab a big cogwheel so I can use... No. I want... small cogwheel attached to there. Large one there. That doubles the speed, which then also doubles the stress it's currently using.
Right.
And I could just place these next to each other. Now it's overstressed, which you can see the whole thing stops moving. Water wheel, gears.
Right, because this does 256, which is perfect for this, but then the minute you add one more, it requires more stress than you're doing, and so the whole thing just freezes.
So if we attach a thing to that.
Yeah, it's saying that
See
you're
how
over
much
by
it's
64.
overusing.
Alright. Alright, that's easy enough to figure out.
Oh, by the way, there is a little bit of customization regarding the belts. You can dye them.
Ooh. That's good.
Yes, so you can have a little different striped on either side.
Yeah, it helps you remember what's doing what.
Yeah. Something to consider regarding the belts as well. If I quickly add a gearbox there, holding shift so that doesn't do much. These can also be placed like this. No, they cannot carry items.
Well, then what's the point? Like a belt
To
drive?
transfer
Just-
energy this way.
Okay.
Although you might as well then just do that with encased chain drives due to
Yeah.
it performing a significant amount of less lag. Now, I don't think you can do it this way. Oh, you can do it that way.
Well, yeah, it makes sense that you could do it that way.
So, of course, you've got all three of those orientations, plus one more. So, if I quickly make sure that's powered, raise that shaft up one, and if you want to take that, left click onto one of the shafts, and then
What?
drag it down to the other. You've now made a sloped belt. So, of course, that's going to allow you to take items up and down on inclines. What fun it is to ride a slope belt.
It's gonna feed me to the incinerator. Ah!
No, this is where you do not want some crushing wheels at the end of that because they will crush you to death. But that's something for later on. That crushing wheels, as you know, is just a larger millstone in a sense. That can
Yeah, the only thing is I'm thinking, you know, I mean, this is not like the fastest thing. It's like crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh, gee, I'm gonna get that. What? Run away, you know.
Again, that just depends on the RPM. If I turn the RPM up to 64 because it's currently on 16, I said up to 64.
Ah!
Yeah, that completely changes. If you hold shift though, you will no longer be affected by the motion. So you can walking it with shift and you're not at all affected.
That is weird that I can actually run more this way, but then I can't actually run up.
Let's try that on a max speed of 256.
Try-
Nope,
you try-
for some reason that didn't change.
Ah!
There it is. There you go. So we just look at these items fly off the belt. Whee!
Look at me flying off the
Even went a
belt. As soon
distance.
as I get over there to that I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I have to jump.
Something nice.
And yet
by the way,
this makes perfect sense, right? Yeah, let me shift and all of a sudden the belt doesn't work. Whee!
something nice is that Create adds a couple of armor type things. Specifically diving equipment. So you've got the helmets and boots. You've also got, I think, back tanks. you've got to have back tanks for other things as well, so that you can actually like breathe underwater using these diving equipment. But if you wore either one of the boots, so the copper diving boots or the netherite diving boots, you will not be affected by a belt. Oh, something I might add is that if you have two belts like this, you can still combine them. If you come over here whilst holding your mechanical belt, looking at the sort of 1 pixel gap space,
Yeah.
so on the side, there you go, you've just combined it.
And apparently you overstressed the hell out of it somehow.
No, you didn't. You actually ended up removing the shaft in that spot. So if you grabbed any shaft and clicked in that space...
Oh, okay.
Or even when the belt's there, if you clicked on the belt, you will be able to place in that thing. Something to note as well, this works for the end of conveyors. So if you quickly came over here to the end of this diagonal one,
yeah,
just placed onto the end, that's going to extend and move the end shaft with it.
Okay.
Now, yes, there is a maximum reach for these, probably 32 blocks if I were to have a guess. What other simple things are there to do with this? Because I'm wanting to try and keep things on the simpler side to begin with, of keeping it to andesite stuff. So tell you what, it's a confusing thing, but we have, like, working off of the case chain drive,
Right.
there is the adjustable encased chain drive,
Okay.
which,
Whoops.
actually, tell you what, with this one, picking it up, so pick blocking it,
Yeah.
the advanced one,
Yeah, I got it.
in your inventory, hover over it, and then hold W to ponder.
W?
Yeah, hold W to ponder when hovering over it. This is going to give you a sort of tutorial on how these things are used.
Yeah,
And
I see it.
this actually covers the majority, if not every single create item. It will tell you how to use it. So this is literally just a case of being able to change or either double or half the amount of following speed, depending on which end you power.
Okay.
Oh, apparently that comes into play as well. So it's an interesting aspect. I'll tell you, being that we've already covered what a depot is, I'm going to show you the weighted ejector.
Okay.
Quite fun. Weighted ejectors look near enough identical, except from when it's released, they would look very similar to a case of the depot, which they act basically the same. However, these can actually launch
Up to a full stack or less. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I can do it to that. If I recall, you can actually put an item filter into this, maybe? Can you? No. Okay, so that's just that stuff. How do I... Ah, right, okay. So, to use these, you are going to need to set an actual location for the thing to launch you to. So, holding it in your hand, if you, let's say, you pick the left block, I'll pick the right block of shift clicking, and you should select your target. And so then you'll be able to move outwards, and it's going to show you the trajectory and so on and so forth. So if I quickly get a creative motor, that's going to wind the thing down, and of course, how fast it moves depends on how fast it thinks. Yeah, they are very fun to use, but at the same time, everyone I think struggles with finding a place to use them in.
What are you talking about? This is you go from one depot to another to do
but
things.
you have to make sure that airspace is free.
Yeah, but that's not a big a deal.
You want to know a great part about this, though?
It's fun for movement. No way.
Yeah. Just be wary of full damage. That's all I will say. Just think, can these change elevation? Yes. Yes, they can. So you can have a different height level that they launch to. Which is really nice. So yeah, it's a way to transport items. Oh, you're going to try and thing, aren't you?
Yeah, launches me over stuff. Okay, now here's a interesting question. If let's say you do something stupid like pick over there. Oh, it
No,
won't let
it
you
cannot do it a diagonal.
do
It can only go in
diagonals.
straight.
Okay. That does make sense.
Ooh, that's something I forgot to show off.
Oh, that's very cool.
I forgot to show off the one most important aspect of generating stress. Was the shaft. You want to know what it is?
What's that?
The hand crank. This is your manual.
Yeah,
stress
I
maker.
know about the hand crank. We did that on Snowblock.
That's true, yeah. And it's going to eat up your hunger.
Yeah, eats up
I
your
thought
hunger.
I'd at least mention it, though.
That's true. Yeah, that eats up your hunger, though. Okay.
I think, to be honest, for base create, that's everything when it comes to porting around the power, in a sense.
I need to start getting more sleep.
So, let's move on to the sort of equipment aspect. So, let's start off with So, because we know what they are, millstone and crushing wheels.
Okay.
So, you know what these do due to stone block. One mills stuff down, the other one crushes it, but one, of course, uses a lot more stress than the other.
Right.
However, one can also produce a lot more. So if I were to hover over the millstone and press U in item form, I could mill down... Where's something I could say I could mill down? To be honest, there isn't much. Ooh, if I milled down gravel, it's going to give me 1 flint.
Okay.
However, if I used the crushing wheels, it's instead going to give me sand, a 10% chance of flint, and a 5% chance of a clay ball.
Okay, so milling it gives you less stuff, and crushing it gives you more stuff.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
depending on what you're using, depends on the type of thing you can retrieve from it. So these do have their own personal uses.
Right. Hey, life lessons. All right.
And of course, that's a case of making... Each of those are a case of making items for the most part. Now, these items you should also recognize. The
That's
press
build.
and the mixer.
Yeah.
Technically, with the press, you don't even need a depot. You can just use a block. But it is preferred to use a depot. That way, items don't have the risk of despawning, because they are just otherwise sitting in the world.
Okay.
Something to note is that the press, the power comes in through a shaft on the side to
Right.
actually function. The mixer, however, and it does not matter the speed it's going. The mixer, however, uses a gear, meaning you need
stress
a
and rotation.
rotational gear power coming from any side of that to actually make that function. And to also mention, plus the basin is going to be a need, but you do need the rotation power to be high enough for it to actually function. Like hovering over it right now, you can see it says that it needs more speed than 16 RPM. So if we turn that up to 32, now that's enough.
Right, because now it's generating 128 stress units.
No, that's using.
Or sorry, using 128. Yeah.
So of course,
My
when
mic sounds so good. Thank you for that.
wanted are in the basin is basically a crafting pot.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
It can also
that.
be used in a press for compacting blocks. So, like, let's say you had 9 iron, that could make a block.
Okay.
Another nice feature, if I put a depot there, it will spit it out to it.
Okay.
So it's a nice way for things to leave.
How did you put the little spout on there?
It just appears automatically.
Oh, so when you put down a depot...
So yeah, remove it, it disappears.
Oh, it just... yeah, okay.
So that's an automatic thing. That
And
just
I can only
appears
do
on the
one at a
side.
time,
It can
okay.
only have one, yeah. Something to note is that you can add a filter
Right.
on the side, so that way you can say, only make this, or only make these items from it. You can do that by either just placing in what you're wanting it to make.
Right.
And no, it does not take that item from you. That it's just a visual aspect, you keep the item.
Yeah, it's like foregoing. When you set up filters, it does the same thing.
Yeah.
You keep the item. It just sets up the filter restrictions.
Something you could also use, however, if you're doing multiple things in a filter, and we'll put more of this in later down the line, you can actually use one of those types of filters, which, if you use it, you can then,
Oops.
like, looking away from the basin, you can actually look into it, and from there, using like JI or whatnot, you could drag items in and they become your filters. You could have it as deny, so you do not want those items to be in that filter. You could allow only those items, or whatever the other two are.
So this is to prevent things. This is to only allow. This is to... Respect data is basically the item number controller. Like, let's say you only put 2, it only does 2.
I think it's... I mean, you've got a summary there if you hold shift.
Items only match if their durability, enchantments, and other attributes match as well. Okay, so that's different.
Yeah, so I think it's a case of, like, named things as an example, of like hoppers as an example.
Well, the fact that it
How
says
we make
durability
item
and
filters.
enchantments means that if you want to put in a, let's say you have a sword with an enchantment and you only wanted to do something with those swords with those enchantments, you could do that. Or you could probably use it to like filter, like put your equipment in there, and then if it doesn't have a minimum durability, then it doesn't do anything, and if it does stuff, kind of. Okay.
It's just a way to block or allow specific things.
Yeah, it's similar to because I'm starting to understand and try to figure out the filters and foregoing and how to use them in item sorting, and I'm sort of getting there slowly from watching videos and stuff, and I've got a weird little setup going with filters, with plants, with this and that. Oh, I did make the Infinity backpack. It's currently charging. It's gonna take forever to get to maximum.
Yeah, that's where I like some sophisticated backpacks.
Yeah.
Any charge, you can.
Yeah,
upgrade
I agree. The
recipes.
Infinity backpack's currently a pain in my booty.
And remember, if you did want those in stone block, you can add them. They do work.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I actually built one in stone block. It's currently charging.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
takes
I know.
it takes
But
so
I mean,
long to
the
charge.
sophisticated you can use.
Yeah, the
If you
sophisticated
really
in there
want
as well.
them, you can add them.
Yeah.
I've already tested that. Something else with the mixer. Some recipes require them to be heated.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So for some things you will want a heated placement. It doesn't have to always be heated all the time because you're not going to be using it all the time. But if it is being used all the time, well, it depends on when you're using it, really.
Right. Okay.
If I hover over your blaze burner, press U. Nope, that doesn't tell me anything. Were you on this one? Nope. Never mind. I know there are recipes which require heat. What? Brass. That was one for brass. If you don't have things like the Tinker's mod, to make brass, you need to mix in a heated basin copper and zinc to get 2 brass ingots.
Okay, so can you use, say, a campfire to heat the basin? I mean, to heat the
No.
thing?
You will need a heated blaze burner.
Oh, they don't have to. So
You need to go to the nether to get a blaze for a blaze burner before you can access brass in the create mod.
how many of these blazes are we going to require so that when we do go to the nether, we grab enough Pokeballs? We're going to need a bunch of
useful
Pokeballs.
Fact is that whilst, yes, you can just pick up a live entity of a blaze, you can also interact with the spawner and infinitely get the blaze burners from that. As long as you have an empty one in hand, if you interact with the spawner of a or blaze spawner, that will just infinitely add or put in blazes into your things.
So I can just go up to a spawner and like basically click it, and it'll just keep giving me stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
You don't need
well that's
the
an
mod
easy way.
specifically. You can just use the spawner itself.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the mob duplication thing that I haven't foregoing. If there's a way that I can use that to get more mobs as well. But I guess it's not really necessary. If you could do that with the mob spawner.
So as long as we're able to find a blaze spawner on there, that's fine. You can just click away on that and get however many as you wish from the empty blaze burners. Because of course, you would craft the empty ones, as you might already know, to put the things in.
Well, you do that. I'll do the Pokeballs, and then we'll have to carry them around in order to fill them. Because apparently they don't stack even when they're empty.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't. I can understand if they're full, but they're empty, and I can't stack them.
But they're still data storers, in a sense.
But there's no data in them, so why don't they stack?
True.
It's like, okay, like for the same thing with the chickens.
Think of it as equipment. Like a sword doesn't stack.
True. But an empty water bucket does.
A brand new sword wouldn't.
No. But those are individual entities at the same time, non-stackables, as opposed to, like, say, a water bucket, which when it had, but not a water bucket, because water buckets don't stack, but an empty bucket will stack until you put something inside of it. That's why I was like, why doesn't it stack? I understand it not stacking when it has a mob inside, because then it'll be like a bucket and you put lava in it, it won't stack. And I agree with that 100%, but it's like, it's empty. Let me stack them when they empty. You know, so at least I could like walk in there with like a stack of, let's say, 10 or 16, and then I could come out with a full inventory of individual balls with 16 different things in them or whatever. I totally get that, but it's like they're empty. They literally should match completely. Why don't they?
Who knows?
You know, Minecraft.
It just depends on the mod. Next thing though, I'm going to say that we actually flow. Yeah, let's flow into item transportation, because of course we're seeing, being that we're starting to bleed into with how the basins can. You still have your goggles, don't worry.
Yeah, no, I'm getting another wrench in case I need
it. With, of course, the basins emptying, let's focus on some item transportation, such as the chute. Think of it as a purely vertical hopper. So if you just dump an item in the top, it's just going to come straight out the base. And you can also, similar to the pipes, change that to glass, and you can see the item travel through. Even if you put a block there, you can then see it stuck inside the item. But of course, if you want to take it out, you can just right-click. It will take it out. Right, that's something else. You can also
that was
attach
unexpected.
On a diagonal thing.
So
I was going to get to that. But you can put on the chutes on a diagonal basis as well. So they're vertical and diagonal. A decorative function, by the way. Let's see if I can find the block. Industrial iron, that's it. If we take a chute, you can actually put a decorative function of just a block of industrial iron on it, so it just appears as a full block instead. Still acts the exact same way, it's just a solid block instead. Of which I should note, or put forwards, a similar function can happen to shafts, cogwheels, and other things using different types of casings. Like the andesite casing, for example, that can be placed onto gears, shafts, and mechanical belts.
All right, so this thing doesn't go sideways at all, right? It just goes
No, it can only go
at an angle.
vertically or diagonally.
Okay.
And with these chutes, I think it's a case that up to 16 can travel through at a single time. If I quickly pick those up. Oh no. Oh no, because I chucked in a stack that's still picking up that a stack is channeling through. If I
it channels from what I
just
can
dump
tell.
all of those on the top. Oh no, now they're all in ones. Oh no, that's in a two, but
Right, but these are
they've
only
all
whoops.
only now got one in each. Let me just dump everything out the bottom.
Well, that didn't work. Yeah, from what I can tell from using it, apparently it takes 16 at a time and then puts it through, and then
Yeah.
once that's into the next one, it'll grab 16 more and 16 more. But then so long as the next one is holding on to until it's clear, it doesn't grab anymore. I can tell that from using it on the grinding wheels.
Exactly. But then you also have a case of the smart chute, which functions similarly to the normal chute, except it's only English. It's only basically a one block thing, so you cannot put a diagonal thing on it. It's just top to bottom. However, with this, as you might have spotted in the square space on
Redstone.
the side, yeah, you can lock it with redstone, so nothing can travel through it. It's like blocking a hopper, in a sense.
Okay.
But then you can also put on a filter, so now only normal chutes can go through that.
Okay.
And of course, that works with the filter item that I've showed earlier as well.
Okay.
You can put items onto that, into this, and then only those items will either be allowed.
Right, because if you don't use the filter that you showed earlier, then it only does one filter item. And with the other filter, you could set multiple items to allow to pass through, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we've seen, that chute is now traveling through. If we have a redstone signal, oh, there's even a thing on the top to say that it's now shut. I didn't realise. I keep forgetting there's this little animation on the top as well. Say that's now shut and nothing can travel through it. So if you want this item elsewhere, or further down the line, or let's say this is leading into a storage point. Oh no, that storage point is filled up with this item, but things can still cycle through the machines, and you're just getting overflow and waste, and it's not doing any good for your system. So you could have a thing to turn off access to that machine of items.
Right, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just checking something real quick. Why is this open? It should be open.
Right. I'm quickly going to grab myself some belts. So we're going to move further on with item stuff. So
Cool.
something we're going to focus on now are funnels. So funnels, think of them as, well, they're intakes and outtakes. There is a difference between andesite and brass, and it's
Okay.
not just a filter. On the brass, yes, you can add that filter stuff. Again, filters is all like those other stuff.
Right.
That's where that allow and deny really comes into play.
Right. That's whitelist and blacklist. Got it. So
Yeah,
what's the
something you can
biggest?
also do.
Right. But what's the biggest difference between the brass and andesite funnels?
Well, if you hovered over the filter, you can actually tell it to extract either up to or a specific amount of items.
On the brass one, you can do this,
Yes. On the andesite one, there is no choice.
but you could still set filters on the andesite to allow
No.
it to come. No filtering on the andesite at all.
Nope. No filters on the andesite.
So
Andesite is just
it's
blank
just a funnel,
funnel.
whereas
So-
this one here allows you more customization.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's where the brass comes into play very nicely. The andesite one can take in, well, either of them can take in however much. However, when exporting, the andesite funnel will only do one at a time. As mentioned, the brass funnel, if you change its filter stuff, you can have it to be, well, by default, it's any amount. So that can go up to letting out 64 items at a time. But of course, you can filter that to be exactly one number or up to that number
Okay, so you could
with the
choose.
filter then on top of
Say
that.
I wanted to spit out like 10 at a time of something for whatever reason down the line I need it to be limited. I could do that with the brass. It'll spit out 10. It'll pause for however long and spit out 10 more.
Correct. And
Excuse me.
something you can do with both of these is lock them. So that will just stop them.
Yeah, locking
allowing
would
things
prevent
in and
anything
out.
from coming through, so.
Something to note is that these are directional. You might notice on the side of their designs, there's arrows.
Yeah, it's pointing that way. So
Using
these
a
are
wrench,
currently outside.
You can switch them.
Oh, now this will push inward.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will take things in. Something to also make note of, this is one of those things where holding shift can change how the thing acts when placing down.
So when you shift, it goes in the other direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course that functions on both of them. As we can see, these are currently stuck to the sides of a wall. If let's say I placed down a creative crate. This is just so that I can port out any item I wish to.
Okay.
Just think of this as a storage device, like a chest or a barrel. But I'm just going to quickly add what I want to come out, because I'm just holding large water wheels. I'm going to use those.
Okay.
So if I place on an andesite funnel on here, you can see it looks slightly different.
Because it's on a belt.
Yes, because it's deploying straight onto a belt, it's going to look like this, where it's going to be straight on, and it can function either way. There is no directional specification to this now. It only defines on which way the belt is moving.
All right. Yeah, makes sense.
If I place another creative crate there, just so that we don't have to worry about how things are emptying, and if I power the belt but actually make sure it travels in the other direction, we can see that functioning. So, and as you might be able to tell, that's currently going one at a time.
Yeah.
If I switch that out to put the output as a brass funnel, that's now sticking out a stack at a time.
Oh, okay.
And of course, as
Right, you
mentioned,
did say that the andesite only does one at a time, whereas the brass can do more.
the andesite can take in however much. So if it's intake, you're fine with that. Putting out,
That's where you need the brass if you want to.
You want the brass for all of those bonus things.
All right, so
they
intake
have their
brass
own
is more for filtering and whatnot, which is why you wouldn't definitely need that. Otherwise, it doesn't matter too much. And output is way more involved as far as the two goes because of what you can do with the brass. Okay.
Yeah, I should also mention
Alright,
that
that's
as well. If I quickly grab a deployer, not deployer, a depot. That also works functionally with putting out and taking in items.
But it's only doing one at a time.
Yeah, because of course that's the andesite.
The andesite, yeah. But if you did a brass, could you tell it to put like more on there at once? Oh yeah, it does.
And of course, as mentioned, you can set that amount. So if you had a storage thing or storage device, but you wanted to be able to bring out a specific amount of items because that's what you take in, that's what you take for your personal gain. Like, you can have all of this automation, but then you just have that one little spot of use. Like, oh, these andesite casings are going elsewhere so that they can make stuff, but I also want to be able to take some of these without screwing up the line. So you could just have one of these on the side of a storage unit so you can take them whenever.
But it'll be based on, like, it'll be sitting here, let us say that there's a stack, but if you don't need a stack, you can't.
Yeah.
Hey, Bear, thanks for following.
Bear. I think that's mine, actually.
It's on yours, but yeah, it's definitely on yours.
Thank you for following, Bear. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. I am currently showing or teaching Prime here how to use the Create mod.
It's going along very well. I'm understanding quite a bit.
We have currently covered the topics of generating stress units. We've looked at movement of the rotational force between things like belts, encased chain drives, clutches, gear shifts, gearboxes, the advanced chain drive as well, along with the weighted ejectors. Nope, I'm lost. Waste your breath. That's fine. And we've been currently going through some of the equipment stuff. Cue for potato.
He says, "So waste your breath like you a potato." Yeah, I was kind of the same way on this, but he's explaining it very well, and we both play Stoneblock 3 together, but because our other
mod pack by Feed the Beast.
Yeah, but we're not doing it today because our other partner is not feeling well. She is ill, so we're doing something different today.
Yeah.
So he's teaching me his side to create, because I'm doing the foregoing, he's doing this. Yeah.
Teaching this because you've made a Moss machine in base Minecraft recently, and even you've said to me that you really enjoyed, and I know I really enjoyed seeing all of those items flush through the water.
Yeah, this right here, the conveyor system and stuff, this is why I know I will like Create. Foregoing is supposed to have belts in regular foregoing. I don't think it's available in the Stoneblock 3 though.
Yeah, it depends on the version.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the belts are in there for that.
Something you can do with these funnels, by the way, is if you don't want or don't care about the space, you can extend it just to cover that full block.
How would you
And that
extend
works
it?
on
You
both.
just put another one of them?
Just a wrench.
Just a wrench.
Yeah. Just a wrench. You just nope.
Wrong.
Not that. You don't need to hold shift. Yes, bear. That is in fact
Oh.
sick. But yeah, that just pushes the items out forward a little.
Yeah, but the whole point is to see the items, so we want to do this.
Yeah, it just depends on the farm. I think this might help reduce lag as well. I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, but I got a beefy PC, so I won't worry about that. You know,
I
I worry about lag on
probably-
servers and realms and things like that. I'm not, when it's just me personally, I'm not worried about that because, well, my PC should be able to handle it.
I should probably also mention these things are waterloggable.
And it doesn't mess up anything. Okay.
Nope. You can waterlog these things, and it's perfectly safe.
Wonder if there's a reason for that. There's got to be a reason. Well, I'm guessing so you can use it underwater.
Kinda. Do you remember the encased fans in Stoneblock?
Roughly, yeah. The
We've
ones
got
that we
them in the
use
shared
to
space.
the one that we use to like wash things and whatnot. The creative washing.
Yes.
Right.
You can have something waterlogged, and that will still keep it being washed.
Okay.
So you could have an encased fan right next to this waterlogged belt, and it will wash the item on it.
But doesn't the washing require for the item to stay still? And if it's on a belt, it just moves along.
Again, that's where the filter stuff can come in.
So you put in a filter to say,
Yeah.
let's say
Something
you're
you
washing
can also
gravel to get one other thing. You put it on there. The filter will only accept the one thing, so the gravel stays on the belt
Kinda, yeah.
in front of the filter before. Okay.
Something you can also use is a brass tunnel.
Brass tunnel.
So this is just acting as a funnel, but on its own solid block space kind of thing.
And then this is where you would put the filter items in order to say,
Yeah.
hey, we are.
This does have a
Like,
further
we're
function though.
if we're trying to make like soul soil, we take regular soul sand. Sorry, you take regular sand, put it on there, put a filter, so that it only takes soul soil through the thing. Put on the fan,
Yeah.
put on the fire, and when it converts, it'll go through.
Yeah.
Okay, trying to make sure I understand the concepts.
Right. There is also a andesite one of these as well. I will quickly mention. No filters. And a lot less functionality.
Well, yeah, the brass is obviously the better. Now, here's
So-
here's a question. Okay, so you got filters on these things. What's the point of the tunnels? It's just to keep it from going onto the belt, like.
No. This is something I was actually going to get to. So if I quickly just make something gearbox, add a belt, you can see now just for a moment on the side there is now an export. Right? So the andesite funnel, except from being a case where it can be a decorative thing, if you place, let's say, make sure that's going the other way, put a shaft in there so the other one can function. Let's say I just grabbed a stack of wooden brackets. The andesite tunnels will export one item off of that line. So now one has just deployed over this side. 63 are now here.
Okay.
Yeah, I never often find a use for the andesite tunnels, to be honest. The brass
They're
tunnels are
very
where
limited usage because of their
it functions.
restrictions, but this is actually not bad. If you want it to do one thing, you do this, you put a whole, however many, it puts out one this way so it can do other stuff. Okay.
Quickly testing something. I don't think this is a feature for the andesite funnels. No. Okay. So they're still their individual thing. We'll get to that point in a moment. Moving over to the brass versions. Of course, as we know, you've got the filter stuff.
Right.
And that side export function also works. However, when you add this now secondary export,
Right.
you will have an option of the distribution method appear on the top. Holding that down, you get a number of different options. So you can either have, what is it? Split, so then it's a half-half. Forced split, so of course always have half-half. Round robin, so it only does 1-to-1, 1-to-1, 1-to-1. So
Okay.
output one, then out the next one.
So one on one
one,
side,
the
one on
next.
the other side, for example.
Yeah. So if you had, let me grab another 2 stacks of wooden brackets. If I dumped these onto the belt right now,
Okay.
so that is currently, and that's forced round robin, but yeah, that still works. So that's currently going out that side. If I pick those up, that should instead just go straight out. And of course, if that happened again, it would go off to the depot.
Okay.
So it's a way to just export things. Of course, this works with belts, like I was doing here a moment ago. I've just quickly used it as a depot for quick, easy access. I would like shaft. Why would I like a shaft? So that I can add more belts. Because this is another useful thing about the brass tunnel. You can place them together and they will connect.
Okay.
So, like how I was just mentioning before about the forced round robbing, splitting the items between those doorways, depending on the exit, depends, of course, which way they can head out. Say if I were to split the items, so I grabbed 9 basins. Each belt will have 3 basins on it.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
tossed in
there's 3 on
64
each.
things and it only spit it out on one. Why is that?
So you had it in forced round robbing at that time, because these will all link together in their distribution method. So you, of course, got split, forced split, round robin, forced round robbing. Prefer the nearest. So it
Oh,
will.
okay. So depending on what's what. Okay, I got you.
So prefer nearest. Let's say an item's coming in. It will only ever choose the first line it can go to before it moves on to the next. If the first one's filled up, then it moves on to the next.
Okay, and could you set up filters on these two so that the first one takes in, let's say, 2 different items or 3 different items, right? And then you put it through one tunnel, and then with the filtering, it'll spit out the correct items on each line?
Yeah.
You could do that.
For
Okay.
a tunnel, the filters are individual to their sides. Unlike other things we've seen, like the basin, each side of their filters is individual. So you could have nothing here, but then you'd say you'd only want depots in the middle, shafts there, and belts to come out there. No matter the order you dump those in, they will only ever come out onto those filtered.
Perfect. Okay.
spots. Something I forgot to mention.
What's
if
that?
you have a block at the end,
Yeah,
the
see,
items will not pop off.
and they'll stay on the belt and they don't despawn.
Correct.
Okay. That's good.
So, of course, this is a very, very useful thing, though something I do still like to do, even on the back of the tunnels, is just add a blank filter. Like, let's say I have any random item. I'll just stick it in the filter so that I can make sure nothing is coming out of that empty space.
You imagine
Even
using...
if it doesn't need it, I will still do it, because if I accidentally switch which way the direction is, now everything that's currently on the belts in front is getting chucked out of these empty spaces and dumping everything onto the ground. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, you're now also splitting one line into 3.
Yeah. So, what if we put, just out of curiosity, if we did this and then we do this. So that's 2 stacks of stuff. What happens when they get to the end? Ooh, they just sit there like this. What was that? Who's that for?
Is that your side? Or
I don't know.
side?
I'm looking down to
just
see.
Gotta follow. That's your side.
Is it?
Yeah, Isabella John just followed you.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Isabella. How are you? Welcome to the stream. We're currently doing a collab, and we're testing out also how the Twitch side works. So we're trying to figure this out to see. We're currently sharing chat, so that's why we're trying to figure out who's who. I just realized something. This is off. From the power. No, it's a thing I gotta do. Hold on.
Well, you're not showing the icons in your chat to whose chat is whose.
I don't know how to do that.
Or
I'm
is that
trying
just
to.
me? Is that just the streamer that sees that?
I'm not sure. Wait, what?
Because I know for my chat, I see icons to whose chat is whose, or a message from which chat is to which chat. But when I switch to your channel, I can't see thing. Oh, by the way, you have your console craft icon up in the corner.
Oh, crud. Hold on, I'll fix that real quick. I forgot to turn that off.
Even I've just noticed it as well.
Yeah, I have it set up so I can transfer between my ALG when I'm not doing console craft stuff and my console craft, and I need to be able to turn it on and off. I still need to finish fixing that, but okay,
Well,
that's there now.
I have my...
Oh yeah, but I'm not sure how, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm still, like, it says on mine, it says moderator. On yours, it just says sent from Syntax Prime's channel when you check the stream elements. Ah, okay.
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at the actual chats and seeing, like, because it said stream elements, thank you for following, but it turns out if I highlight over stream elements, it'll tell me that it's coming from my chat. So, okay, I'm you know, we're learning. We're learning.
Something I did on the sharing thing is I muted both my mic and audio, so we're not speaking through that. Because I know you're currently still speaking through that, though, of course, because I muted my audio on there.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. Oh, okay, so I could.
Because according to Dan, that audio is terrible. So stick with Discord.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just turned it off in there. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, my
Oh, you can actually
my
see
OBS
down here.
automatically pulls out the Discord anyway, so they can hear you on it. I'm pretty sure. Wait, say something real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it coming
No,
through.
you.
Yeah, so
Um.
I just realized my audio for some reason is probably not coming through. Yeah, that's definitely not. Let's make this here pop up a little bit. For some reason, the audio is not coming through correctly for the game sounds. It's all weird. It used to be fine, and now it turns out it is not fine. It's very odd.
I was going to quickly set something up, but I've just noticed something you have to be wary of.
Ooh.
I've just placed a basin on, and now.
Yeah, as soon as I came around to this side, I realized what you were about to say too. As soon as I got up, I'm like, "What's that?" And it's like, oh, okay.
That's coming through a side I didn't want it to.
So how do you prevent that? Is there a way to do that?
Something I would probably do is just block that. So now,
but now it's on this side.
Yeah. So let's say that's the side I want to take it from. I could put a thing there, so at least that can now take items into the basin. That's not going to chuck out until it's finished its thing. Though I still like to have the output. Yeah, you do need to be careful of that.
Yeah, as soon as you do that, it goes out the other way.
Yeah. You do.
So in other words, yes, caution with this, but maybe wherever you're gonna put this, have this go up and over so it doesn't interact with that, or
something like that.
Do something like that.
It depends on what you're doing. This is where it depends on the contraption. And of course, you can put the funnels into the back, and then those will, of course, feed into the things.
The good news is that the microphone is not picking up a bunch of the construction, apparently. It is picking up some, so I do apologize for that if you hear that. There's not a whole lot I can do about it, so.
Do you not hear any of it?
Well, I'm in my apartment, so yeah, I hear them working on the other apartment. I just don't know if it's registering through the mic, and I was just looking. And it looks like it might be picking up a little bit of it, but not too much of it. Ah.
Oh, there goes the main belt.
Well, I was trying to pick up the thing. You should never my fault. That's what I'm looking for. That. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, dang it. I'm trying to learn.
Almost. You got you can just extend the belt. Do it that way. Extend the belt. No.
I'm working at it. There we go.
You don't punch your place.
I'm right clicking. That's not punching. It's supposed to be. See, that places. That's what I'm trying to do, but it breaks.
Hey, then you're pressing left click.
No, I'm doing right click, but I don't. But I don't know any better yet. So.
You sure?
Yeah. Well, not that time. But I had this, and then. Well, apparently I was pressing right click.
Yeah, this is something nice you can do with some casings. Just decorative.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a brass casing. You can do the same, but with andesite casing to have a different base. And no, you cannot do it with the copper casing or the train casing. But yes, the textures do connect on them.
Hey, what's up, Tall?
All right, yeah, you have a
good evening
as well.
Yeah, that's my that's on my YouTube.
I forgot about that.
You looked over. You're like, "There's nobody talking. Who's he talking to?"
Yeah.
YouTube. Afternoon for me. It's 2:00 in the afternoon for me. But for you, it's
7:10.
No. He's in India. I'm trying to remember how far away that's another 4 hours from you. So I think. So that would make him be. What is that? 11 o'clock? Is it after 11 over there by Utah? Oh, that's a pretty one.
Yeah, that's the.
Hey, I was right. See, he says it's 11:11. So I guessed right.
Well done.
Not India. Crap.
Mhm.
I knew you were further to the east. Middle Eastern. Okay. Oh no, the Indian guy was last night. I had a new follower last night, and he was from India.
I'm tempted to say that we are sorted when it comes to those types of item transportation. Of course, there are a few other things I'd want to show off first, though. Some of these you have seen before. So, contraption controls. These can... I don't often use these.
Heck,
I don't much.
that I have not seen. What is that?
You have seen it because it's on an elevator I showed you.
I don't remember the elevator.
In stone block.
Yeah.
The stone block things. From the elevators that I've shown you in the past, I've used these to have the floor identification of where you want to go or such.
Yeah, but I don't remember it, is what I'm saying. Because that was a while ago. I'm still waiting on the current installment of the thing that's a surprise in Stone Block. Remember, no camera down there. It's not yet.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't talk about it. We hint around it, but we don't talk about it. I gotta make sure that before we go live, I block it off that area so nobody can see anything.
These do function more with contraption stuff.
Okay.
Like you can turn specific things off if you put a filter on them. Like, say you have a drill machine tunnel thing. That is a weird... That is wacky. Sorry. So you have drills on a contraption. If that's on a contraption and you press that, that will turn them off. And that could go with anything. But other than
that doesn't work. It didn't turn it off. It just removed it. I right clicked. I didn't left click.
No, I'm just quickly checking these. Oh yeah, you can. So no, that doesn't put a redstone output to my knowledge. Okay. Even I don't really use that too often. I only know it for elevators, to be honest.
Alright,
Of course, you have things such as the drill and the saw. These each will mine their own respective things. And damage if you're not careful.
Okay.
So, of course, the drill will mine stone.
So, okay, question on the casings over there, because you got brass, you got the gold, the andesite, whatever this thing is. What is this? Train. Okay. Does it make a difference for each one, or like for these guys, or is it just more of a decorative thing, or is there a difference? Is there a difference between them?
The casings are a decorative block, but also they're used in crafting recipes. So, like, mechanical saw here. As you can see, it's the same exact design as the andesite casing. That's
right, so it would use the
actually
andesite cases.
The andesite casing in its recipe.
Right. Well, no, not that. What I'm saying is, like, is there a difference between this one and this one as far as uses, overall uses go? Besides, the color or use in a recipe. Not in a recipe, but in...
To be honest, it's just decorative and recipes.
Decorative and recipes. Okay.
Honesty.
All right.
And the casings, of course, as I've shown, can do things like this.
Right, yeah, again,
This,
decorative.
I think, is the only one that can actually go over shafts and things, though, to hide them.
The brass one doesn't do that?
Don't think so.
Because it looks like it did it right there.
Oh, it can. Unless, actually, no. Wait, that might just be a different mod that's doing that.
Because it's
So
looking like that right here. So that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
You can do it with those ones in base create. I'm not sure if you can do this in base create, though.
Oh, so that might be one
able
of the hundreds of mods that are on this particular pack that
Yeah.
allows that, not
Yeah.
maybe base
I might
create.
be
Okay.
confusing my things there.
All right, so that may or may not work. Depends on the version of the create and the mod pack that you
Yeah.
have. Okay, that's fair enough. It's good to know.
Mentioning the drill, saw, of course, saws to wood. Drill is to stone. However, the mechanical saw has a bonus feature. If I... Nope, that isn't needed. You can actually place these upright, and they work like a mechanical saw. Not mechanical saw, just a stone saw that you normally use to, like... Yeah, if that makes sense.
That doesn't make sense. What do you mean?
Functional... Stone cutter. That's what I was looking for. They function similar to a stone cutter.
What?
However,
This thing now works as a stone cutter? What, on wood?
Yes? Question mark? Remember, something to recall is rotational force. If I quickly set this up, actually.
Oh, this is actually nice.
So.
Oh, I'm gonna use this somewhere in stone block. Watch.
By the way, there is a filter on these. So, which way is the direction of these things turning?
That way.
Correct.
Which is towards the east, or they're pushing towards the east over from, so basically counterclockwise. So, that's what I was trying to think of.
If you were to have a belt on here, where's a shaft? There's a shaft. So if you were to have a belt on here, you would think that functions, right?
Well, I could tell that it doesn't, because that's not... Oh, no, it is moving. It should.
That's how you would think. Because, yes, these things can work in lines like this. That is a feature.
Okay, but...
However, I'll tell you what, if I...
There's always a but.
Let me put a filter of stone slabs on there.
Okay.
I've lost stone now. There it is. Drop a piece of stone on there. You've just seen which direction that went.
It's broken.
Nope, that's how it actually goes.
No, it's broken. We're pushing that way. Why did it stick it that way?
Right. Think about the saw's direction. When you're chopping things, it's heading round towards you. The top is heading around towards you. So this is where you will want some cogwheels here instead to mirror that central point. Let me grab some more stone.
So to make this work, we would have to actually reverse the rotation on this, and then it would.
For the saw, it needs to be reversed. And of course, because I've put the slab filter on there, it's only making these things into the slabs.
Okay.
So you can automatically convert blocks using this. So you can have that production rate going up, if you so wished.
Right, like if you need a lot of stairs or you need a lot of whatever,
Yeah.
you could do this, and then
Exactly.
it'll
If
just make it. Okay.
I'm quickly going to swap that filter to, let's say, oak stairs. Put that across. No. Okay, so that didn't work. However,
Wait,
if
wait. This is a thing to design. This is to design to cut wood, and it doesn't do the wood.
Cool, because it's like a stone cutter. If I, however, place a stripped filter onto that, that can actually strip a log. Oh my word. I just noticed how large those items look on your screen.
What do you mean?
On my screen, they're tiny. On your screen, they're however big.
Let me see.
Like, look at my stream in comparison to yours.
Why is that like that?
Because remember, I've deactivated the resource packs on mine. So you've got all of these different resource packs which are changing how you're seeing things.
Okay.
But you do have to be careful, because if you've got the mod pack to add those trunkless bark blocks that you're holding right now,
Right.
these saws can make them as well. So you always want to have that filter on there to make sure you don't accidentally make things. I should
we'll do this.
probably note, by the way, that belts are basically just simply moving depots. They will work the exact same way, but one's moving, the other one's stationary.
Okay, I want to try something. Just see if this works. So if we take this out, and then we stick this in, and then we put this there. That does not work.
Drop
we
it.
drop that there.
There
It does nothing.
If you did that, but instead with a strip log.
No, it should do nothing.
Ooh.
Oh, it does it with stripped logs, but not with oak logs.
Okay, so you've got a progression thing here.
Okay. So then that means if we do this, and then we take this out and then stick this in there, but then you do it with this instead.
No. Because that doesn't work. So... yeah, no, there is... you have to craft the stairs. I'm looking at it now.
There must be a way.
Doesn't seem like it, because I'm looking at the recipes right now. Of just hovering over an item and pressing R. It's annoying, but at least you have this function. Because you can use things like mechanical crafters to then make whatever from that.
Press X, Y, Z to delete. Hey. Couldn't think of anything else real quick. Okay, so that's kind of annoying.
Move that back. I will use a wrench to squeeze that back. Do that. Put Put a shaft there. Place one there. I need those small cogwheels. Nope. Didn't want to do that. That allows 2 of them to be placed right next door to each other. And then what you could do is place a large cogwheel going into another small one. And then have a gear. You could either have a gear shift to verse it, or you just have a gearbox. And now you could say, what is it? I'm going to have first one going down into strip planks. That goes down into not strip planks, strip logged, to then go down into planks. And then you've got that whole automation line immediately.
Well, okay, so you can make planks automatically. That's odd. It gave you 6.
6?
Yeah, 6.
Really? Is it giving you 6?
Oh, that's what I'm double checking. You put 1 in there, right? Because it just gave 6 out, so...
It gives 6.
Oh, so it actually increases your production as well.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Though this might also be this mod pack.
Could be in mod
Be
pack.
wary of that. If I
You're just killing all my fun ideas. Oh, it might be this mod pack. Might not be that. Ah, come on.
Go to there. Soaring. Yeah, I can see that strip goes down into that. Yeah. Okay.
Curious. Okay, if you have a cutting board, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff to get that. What's this? Alchemy. Automated shape crafting. Sawing. Yeah. Says that if you put in 1 block, it gives you 6 back.
Interesting.
Uncrafting is if you have something. Wait, vertical oak planks become wooden planks. Oh, so you can have. Oh, wait. Oh, I hadn't ever noticed that.
I mean, I would show you the encased fans, but you already know what the encased fans, don't you?
Yeah. We know about the encased fans.
Yeah.
Put that in front
So
of
I
water.
won't
Put that
bother.
in front of lava. Put that in front of soul fire. Or any blue flame, and it does the different things for basically for like washing and scrubbing and things like that. So that I get.
Yeah.
Here's a question: how the arms? How far do they reach?
I'm not entirely certain on that one.
Because I know over here
I'm
it was
tempted to say
reaching
8 blocks,
8 block
but
reach.
don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Because this is basically it's reaching 1,
Create
2,
mod
3, 4.
how
So it reaches 4 over here.
Can a cool arm reach a 5 block radius?
So 5 block radius, and over here it was at 4 away. So we were literally, so we could do 1 more out if need be. Okay. If it was straight on the side, but then that means that if it's going to turn, then it's actually 4 on the next
I
block.
should probably also mention, by the way, with the arms, you can deposit straight into a funnel.
Yeah, you
That's
just
something
link
you
it so
can
that
do.
it goes into the funnel and it should function. Okay.
Just moving on slightly, the deployer. You, of course, have seen the deployer in action just on a depot.
Yeah.
The same
Well, no, I saw it on a belt as
works.
well.
Okay, so you do know of it on a belt.
Yeah. When you put an item on the belt and you do the thing, it'll stop underneath while it does the thing, and then it goes
Yeah.
to the next one. So you can set up a
Okay,
bunch of these to make
so
assemblies.
you already know how these things work with
Yeah.
setting their filters and stuff. But there is also the option to put them into attack mode. So these can then actually be used in sort of mob
Oh,
farms.
hell. Is that how you do create mob farms?
Yeah, more or less. Well, one of the methods. You could also use crushing wheels or this. And...
One thing I learned, putting chickens into crushing wheels gives you nothing. We're not going to talk about it.
Something you will want, by the way, for this is an output line from this, because the deployer will collect those items.
What do you mean?
So from the mob it kills, it's going to pick up those items, so you want to have that sort of funnel and belt or whatnot after it to take things away.
Okay. I just thought of a question. When you give it, say, a sword like this, and you're doing mob killing, and it kills the mob, the sword uses durability?
Yes.
If the sword had mending, would it then mend itself?
I want to say no, but I'm going to say I couldn't tell you. Something I'm going to go back to in the use mode, by the way. If I place down grass block, that's just placed that in the world. If I place another one into that,
Well, it won't do anything because it's too close.
in theory, it should place one in front of it.
No, there's not enough room between the finger and the block for it to do that.
Because I've known it to go through a block or something or other.
Well, does it not require? Yeah. It needs no, it needs to be longer on the back end. We need to put a thingamajig here.
That is not possible with these. You do have the...
So with the deployers, you can't make them reach longer.
No. Granted, there are these.
Yeah, but that apparently works for farm. Yeah, for the farms and
whatnot. That's something else entirely. That's to do with creates unique piston variants.
Yeah.
Okay. I might as well actually lightly touch upon those.
Well, we got 30 minutes.
So what it is, it's just a case of normal piston. If that can't currently extend, as soon as I add... Can it go the other way? No. Piston missing some extension. Well, there you go. It just extended one, like an old piston. But you could add however many you want. Yep.
2 hours later.
Of course, again, I've only got it on 16 RPM. And
Yeah.
you can stickify these, by the way. This is just a normal one. Is this an entity? No. But
I'm about to say we gotta make it go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There's a way to do that.
They are a fun thing, though. It is a nice, easy. Oh, hello. Always place when stopped. Place only starting position. Place when anchor destroyed. Okay. Something people like to use this for is actually moving their entire build. Yeah.
Oh.
So you know
Okay.
what I've shown you with elevators, of you just stick them together and that's then the contraption.
Yeah, of a sort.
You stick them together.
Uh-huh.
Well, you stick the whole thing together, and then you could just move the whole thing in one push.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you super glue the whole thing, and then you put a piston, and then it moves it. So the question now in my head is, what's the limit on the pushing of the pistons in Create? Let's say you have a machine that's 20 blocks, and you need to move it over 3.
Not sure, but I'm guessing it's 32.
Why do you guess it's 32?
Because that just... It's an equal limit for most things. Like, for example, if I were to quickly place down train track and I was trying to select it to go along in the fashion of just then placing down its second point.
That's another question I want to ask you. Like, okay, so you have this, and then you put one, right? And then how do you automatically put the other? Because every time I try to do that, and then...
So just on the track, interact with the track.
Right.
Your item is... No.
Oh, no, let's take these out. Let me start this over.
Interact with the track itself whilst holding more track. You should now have a sort of enchanted glint on your item, right? So, yep. Now you've already got it in hand.
Oh, and then it just it does a curve thing
There you
too.
go.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I will also note, if you hold left control when you're making a curve, it will make it a lot smoother. So if I did the same exact length as what you just did, but I added or held control, look at the difference that.
Yeah, it's just telling me too short.
Yeah.
When I try to do it like this, it says too short.
Yeah,
like
you're
this
gonna see
says
on
no.
the ground some like where you can and cannot place it. It's like at one point you're gonna see, oh, the ground is appearing green now. I can place it all around there.
So basically, a train coming along and just derail on this right here.
I mean, in theory, normally because a crate allows this, no, but it might also be so sharp that crate might not allow it to occur. Not sure.
Yeah, maybe if it was one of those little
Something to test.
handhelds, if it's something small, maybe. But yeah, a regular train wouldn't.
I quickly
Okay.
ignore this. This is not base create. This is Steam and Rails. Oh no, it does work. You can.
Well, that's what I
travel
was
across
thinking
that
on one of them.
shuttles.
Yeah, on one of them things. But on a train,
It's very janky though.
yeah, I figured it would work on that, but not on an actual train. I don't think a train would actually work on there. But okay, I see how the curves go. So this one here is a little bit sharper than this one, it looks like. Oh no, that's a little bit broader than this one. I don't know.
Right.
That's
This
kind
is
of weird.
where, as said, this is that left control is going to come into play.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you can see I've done basically the exact same length and chicane that you've done, but holding left control has just made that a lot smoother.
Yeah.
That's going to do a
So
lot
when you
in
do
many
that,
places.
let's see. When you do that, and then what you want to do, you said, is you click on that, and then you hold down left control.
Yeah, when you're like, don't bother holding it down to begin with. Just get to another point
Oh, okay. I see what you're
to
saying.
where you can place it, and place it so there is a sort of angle in there. Looking at the track,
Oh, yeah.
cycle
I
between
see.
holding it.
I see it. Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
So it goes from having a sharp turn to, hey, we'll gradually slide you over there.
Yeah.
Okay, that does make a lot more sense to do that.
It's a lot
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah, it's a lot cleaner. All right.
I mean, that wasn't actually something I was going to try and focus on.
No, but we
'Cause we
wind up
still have
focusing
other
there.
things to look at. Like, for example, to go along with the drill and saw blade, the mechanical harvester, which I need to place onto the side of the block.
Ah, that
So,
thing is put on a piston with a log and it goes out and does the thing. Yeah.
kinda, more or less, this is to harvest crops.
Yeah, you could either put
And
it
it will automatically replace
yeah,
them.
if you do like a straight line, it does that. If you do like a regular field, then you put one of these rotating thingies on there and you connect it and then it does that.
Mhm.
You can
And
also,
similar for the plow. The
yeah.
plow will scoop things up or plow the ground. Plow? Yeah, plow.
Yes, basically you have the harvester and then behind the harvester you got to have this thing.
Mhm.
And
But
then
then there's also that.
that's the farmy thingy. And then what is that?
This is the roller.
Well, what does this do?
So this can do many things when it comes to contraptions. I've only ever used this on a train. Because when running along, it can flatten the grass down into a path. Clear. Well, it can clear clear blocks in front of it, and pave. So it will replace blocks that it's rolling atop with whatever you might place in its filter beside it. Straight fill below, sloped fill below. Place tracks? I'm not used to that one. But the fills are basically just filling in blocks.
Okay,
Air space with blocks
but
below
this
it.
has got to be on an arm or something that's moving, right?
Yes. Or I mean all of these things, for them to properly function in
Right.
their
So this
formation,
is
have to be on
yeah, but
contraptions.
that means that this is semi-useless almost, right? I mean,
Not when attached to a train, because if you
not to when
have
attached to a train, but then there's tracks in the way. So like,
if you had a track, let's say part of it's up there, other part of it's down there, you could use the fill function to fill in that gap.
underneath here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And depending on the block, some of them will even become slabs. Which is nice.
Hmm. Okay.
And being that tail, something to also use on contraptions are things such as this, the portable interfaces. Or as I
Portable
like to call them,
storage
thanks to some of the
interface.
hermits, the kissy kissies.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me guess. You saw Tango and he said that.
I did just say the hermits.
Yeah, I know, but specifically Tango's one of the ones who says that, right?
Yep.
I could tell. I haven't seen him play any other create, even though he says he does like it and stuff. But yeah, I could tell that sounds like a Tango
I mean, he
thing.
did have a create series with him, B-Dubs, Sedaf, Corrales, and Scar was there for a little bit, but then that just died off. Scar wasn't there much.
back. Oh, I forgot about the backpack.
So these will function when one is on a contraption, one is in a stationary point like this. They can either function with a block space between them or 2 block spaces between them. No further, no less.
Okay.
And they literally do what it says on the tin. They transfer items from contraption to solid, more or less. This is the only way you can port things like that. It also works the same with fluids.
Oh, okay. So
But
they're like little,
not something else.
like little teleporters. They just move from here to here.
Kinda. They're just connecting transporters. Like, think of NASA launching a ship. How you've got all of those pipes connecting and feeding into the rocket, and then before it launches, they all disconnect, and it goes off, kind of thing.
Right. So how does this actual get used?
So yeah, this is where contraptions come in, where I'm quickly going to build up a minecart contraption. If I know where things like the minecarts and tracks are. I have no idea where they are. Rail. I need leather. I should also probably get some powered rail thinking about it. So, if we just come over to it, empty space. I'm just going to do a case of going backwards and forwards. That way I can also show off a bonus rail that comes with Create, which is the controller rail, which is basically just as if it were powered rail was at an end block with a solid block, but you don't need that solid block.
Because as soon as something hits that, it just runs in the other direction?
Correct.
Okay.
You do need to power those individually from powered rail. Something I will quickly do, though, is place down a cart assembler. And place a minecart beneath it. This is your basis of creating a minecart contraption. There are some filters on here. I'm quickly going to set it to lock rotation so that whatever's on top... Oh my goodness, I've just seen the rails on your thing. They look amazing.
I know, right? That's what you get for removing the packs. They even look really nice in the hand. In the hand, look, see, they
for
look
stuff
very
that's
nice.
on top of a minecart contraption, they can move around. This just stops that, basically. If I place on... Let me get a barrel.
I seen somebody
as
do something
a
like this one time, and it's supposed to like
storage.
yeah. If you take the whole thing, it stays connected.
Yeah. If I quickly grab a couple of these things, like the plow.
That did not work.
I'll grab the plow. That's not the plow. That's the harvester. The plow, the saw, and the drill. So 4 things. If I quickly just build a place to work on here. And what I'm also going to do is actually place these things on the reverse as well, so that they can function going the other way. Though I can't do it with plow or...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those need to be placed on solid blocks. Though I do need glue to stick all of these.
And to re-put the thing
Together.
over here because I was trying to get it with a wrench and it disappeared.
Ah.
That part.
Mine cart. Nope. Assembler? Yeah. Cart assembler. That's what it's called.
Ah.
There we go.
Ah, I missed it. Just trying to see it.
Okay, so there's a arrow pointing in a direction. That's going to be important to you on top of the thing.
Okay.
So if I quickly put that back together, I'm going to just for a moment place down just randomly things.
Yeah.
So there's those. Let's grab some stone. If I quickly tilt this ground. I'm gonna need a water source. Grab some wheat seeds. Get that to grow quickly. It's not growing. Why aren't you growing? Oh, look at the wheat on your screen. Wow. I wonder if it also functions to do with that stuff. Right. Now, to assemble the contraption, you need to power the actual cart assembler.
Okay.
Now, that can just be removed. You've got... The rail's gone. There we go. Now you've got the contraption itself.
Okay.
If we just give it a push. We can see from above that's taken up all of that. Mechanical saws could be part of a tree farm. Hence, we just saw them get the entire stacks of those logs.
Okay.
So
And then that should be inside the barrel? Yeah.
Yeah. Everything should be inside the barrel. I quickly turn it off at the end so we can stop and see.
Yeah,
Everything's
there's
in
the
there.
stuff.
Apart from that piece of stone that was higher up, the sword didn't take up the grass. I think the harvester did.
Did it?
Yeah, if I quickly just... So yeah, that does take up that. And I'm guessing you might get seeds from that as well. But all of these can be put into contraptions. The most common, or one of the most common things is on a... It's similar to the windmill bearing. However, this is just a mechanical bearing. So this is something that just goes around in circles.
Okay.
If I quickly power it, put a block on top of it.
Whee! Yeah, you and I had the same idea.
There is something else you could do with this, although... Oh no, that's... The turntable's something else. This one will make you dizzy.
Hey, that's what I thought that was going to do.
Yeah, no, only the turntable.
Okay, so that's because this is a turntable.
Yeah.
And that's just a mechanical
For
bearing.
the turntable. Turntable is always just a useless thing to me.
That's because you also thought the creaking couldn't be turned into an XP thing, so you know.
Oh shush. Oh, I should also mention, get your wrench
Got my wrench.
and shift right click the minecart. You've now just picked up that entire control.
Oh, that's how that works. And then you can just place it down, and then,
Hey.
oh shit! Whoops, sorry. That was unexpected.
So yeah, that is a directional place.
Ah, okay.
You don't need to shift to place it. It's just for picking it up. I think. Oh no, you don't even need to shift. You can just pick it up normally.
Yeah. Ow! It ran into me.
Oh! But yeah, you can see it's still retained its function of having a locked rotation, which is good.
Yeah, it's shoving me. Okay, okay. So depending on the direction it's going is when the stuff actually gets turned on. Oh, interesting.
I quickly do this, get that, grab some. Let me grab a saw, and I'll show you a tree farm design people regularly use. I need a deployer. I'm having to remember how to make these now. I should mention you never need rotational force on something that's already spinning.
What do you mean?
So, of course, normally we would need a rotational force on these for them to spin, right?
You would need power
For them
coming
to
in the fact of it rotates the gears, yeah?
Yeah. Because they're on this, they don't. They will activate when the machine's active, unless if you have a control to say for them not to do that.
So when the bearing gets turned on, then the machines are powered.
Correct.
Even though there's nothing that would technically provide the power, because it's getting the power from the turntable. I mean, from the mechanical bearing. Okay.
So, I've now put a filter on here for placing saplings. And if I activate... That's the wrong way! I need to change which direction that's going. So, of course, now that's functional. If I quickly get one of these trees to grow, and also remember there's currently nothing in the barrel.
And there's also nothing on the fingers.
So there's a tree. Tree's gone.
Right, but it's not planting anything.
And something it's also just done, because it took in a number of saplings, it's gone ahead and placed them down.
Oh, yeah, it did. Okay.
So if I took a stack of saplings and just placed them into the barrel.
There we go.
You now have an automatic tree farm. So that's just going to keep going around until a tree grows and blah, blah, blah. Something, though, you would want on here is then a... This is where the portable storage interface comes in. Grab a bit of glue. Let me grab the barrel. And grab a chute. Just to take items out. Because to know the direction of these things, they're either way. So you have to be either pushing something in or pulling something out for that item to actually transfer.
Okay, how do we control the pushing and the pulling?
You don't.
Oh, that's just great.
I didn't glue it.
I was about to say, somebody forgot to glue.
Now, watch what happens. So that's now just transferred all of those items into this barrel. And as I've previously mentioned, that will technically continue to function even if 2 blocks away instead. So if I quickly grow another tree, that's now going to wrap around again, and it's still going to work even when 2 blocks away. So
Okay.
these types of things will function on contraptions like these, minecart contraptions, and trains, which is going to be, as I've mentioned to you before, how I would like to share items between each of our bases on stone block. Yes, it will not pick those up. It was just going to push them. If the storage gets full on the contraption, it's just going to leave the blocks as items on the ground. That's
But the storage is being emptied into here because of
Correct.
the connection every time it goes around.
Yeah, and of course the chute is dragging those items out of the kissy. So of course,
Okay,
that's sucking them
so
down and out that way. So it all depends. Like if you had items flowing into here or into this one, then it would deposit into the contraption instead. So if I placed the chute on top and say that I've just taken a stack of stripped birch wood, that stack of stripped birch wood is now inside of the contraption storage.
okay.
So that's how all of that functions. It all depends on if you're inputting or outputting to the interface that's standing still.
Okay. Let me
how
ask you
they
this. Is there a way to apply bone meal to these kinds of farms that you have right here, or no?
Yes and no. Of course, you can use the deployers, but that doesn't mean it will constantly activate.
Because
to
you
be
need to
honest-
supply it with that anyway.
Yeah, to be honest, when it's always active like this, you do not need it.
True.
Oh, by the way, the harvesters can pick up leaves. So if you wanted to farm leaves as well, you use the harvesters.
So how would you put a harvester on there if you wanted to leave? Just out of curiosity.
You would probably put it for 1 up higher, and 2 in front of where the saws would stick out from. So if I quickly stop that and say I'm going to glue these here like that, grab a harvester. Oh, perfect, the tree's there. I cannot place on those blocks. I cannot place on deployers. Okay. So these are technically in front of the source, right?
Yes.
Granted, it won't work for this tree because the leaves are just too high on that.
That was going to be my next question, but you just answered it. So in order for this to function, those things have to be at the level that the leaves are at.
Yeah. So if
it was to like that one there. Okay, so
if I quickly just create an upper limit,
it didn't pick up the leaves. Oh wait, there it goes. It went that time.
Spawned inside. There we go. Here comes some. There you go. Some were purchased, of course. For these types of farms, I would recommend, if you're going to harvest leaves, use a minecart contraption.
I was about to say it's easier to do it another way than this.
Yeah, use a minecart contraption instead, because that way you could have them a couple blocks forwards rather than, yeah, like this. Because if they're a couple blocks forward on this, their rotation space is going to be set off from the source, of course. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Now, would you want to learn any further, or because you've just hit the 3-hour mark, would you want to stop there? Because, of course, there's still a lot to
Yeah, but
a
I'm
number
getting the
of things to go over,
basis
because you've got,
for like starting up, and the rest is should be
Yeah.
more explanatory.
it's like, you've got train stuff, you've got the fluid stuff. I know there was the rotational speed controller that I didn't get to show you. Where'd you go? There you are. Where this works on side inputs and...
Well, this is supposed to be more of a basic, not a teach me the whole pack, but more of a basic getting started, bunch of stuff that I may run into, questions. And
This is your
I think you did a great job.
thing, by the way. This is how you're going to control your rotations. So if you had 16 in the side, you could change not only direction, but how fast the top one's spinning. And you can do that in the other direction as well. So I should have mentioned that a long time ago, but I was trying to put off the brass stuff.
Oh, very cool. How far does this thing go up? Dang it. That's a lot.
I should mention, by the way, you have this on... Let's max that out to stuff. If you try and add a small cogwheel on here, because of course this is the maximum speed,
it'll break.
it's just going to break off.
Yeah.
You can't do that unless
Yeah,
I
played with that before. I didn't have the goggles on to see the speed, but I do know that at some point, if you go too fast, the little ones don't want to go on there anymore.
Yeah. And this can
It'll go on there.
Lots of things. If you put things in opposite directions as well, things can break that way. So I'm curious if
Let's
I quickly
see.
just like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
No idea if that... Oh, no, that still functions. I tell you what, if I grab shaft and belt. Wait, they're still fun. I can't, it's so fast I can't even tell which way it's spinning. Do that. Okay, so yeah, now these two are opposite way around. If I try to put cogwheel there, no, they have to be the same way. What am I thinking? Tell you what, in case chain drive, that should do it. One there, one there. Pop straight off.
Well, that's because of this.
Exactly. Because they were rotating
In different directions, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean the gears are easy enough to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay. Oi. Hello. I'm inside of a block. Ah! Thank you for freeing me, Mr. Mechanical Art. I was inside the tree. I couldn't even do anything. I tried to do the F3. It didn't work.
I see to that. Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a very good intro, and if it ever happens that Damalus is sick again, we can definitely come back. If not, we can always arrange for another day to maybe go over some more stuff. Yeah. How do you do the emotes? 'Cause I don't know what the
controls, keybinds, category, emote. Yeah. You'd have to. Yeah, you can't access it.
I can't access it.
You can't access it. If you look on my stream, so you can.
Let's go. Let's take a look.
Things. I've looked into the category and I've searched up emote, and you can put down.
Oh, they're already there. You just gotta put
things,
the.
yeah.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I've got some Patreon stuff as well. So they are fun. I've just got those two.
All right. Yeah.
Active from however long ago.
Okay. Well.
Oh no.
On that note.
Goodbye, Prime. Oop, don't crash.
I forgot how to stop.
Destroy those leaves.
I don't know, probably. I forgot how to stop.
I think you destroyed the leaves. Shift. I think you destroyed the leaves.
Did I? I ran into the tree. So, okay, we should.
By the way.
Oh no, wait, no. You know what? I got a better idea.
The tree isn't chopping.
Better idea.
So, what's that? Oh, don't tease them for your console craft stuff.
Well, guys, well, yeah, this is how we're gonna end the stream right here. Go ahead and start shooting so they can see that. All right, guys. So this is been create with BB, or this is learning create with BB, and we
this is teaching Prime create.
Yeah, and this is teaching for him, and we shall see you guys later. We're just gonna fly around here, and this is how we're gonna end the stream. So make sure you guys come back. Make sure they can see me. Make sure you guys come back next week. We will hopefully be back on Stone Block 3. God willing that Damalus is feeling better, and we'll be back then to do the co-op for the Stone Block 3 with more things to show. And that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys later. So bye-bye, GG's.